Erik here from RideWA. Rod Lakelin here as well, a good mate of mine, and you might know him from Middle-earth. He is one of the guys behind all the good trails out in Middle-earth. It's quite technical out there and a little bit different to what we've got here in Collie.
Yes.
Although sort of the start-stop of Ray's Trail, it can probably tie in a little bit with Middle-earth.
It's a little bit of Far Lap with the rock gardens and some of those areas.
Yep. So if you've ridden Middle-earth and you haven't ridden in Collie, there's some little bit of similarities. There's some pea gravel and there's some rocks and there's some stop-start a little bit through Rays, but it should be really good. Come and ride with us Saturday the 7th of August, Sunday the 8th of August. We're here in Collie for the Signage Collie River Mountain Bike Marathon. Now, I've got Rod here today because you are an integral part of the RideWA team.
Yes.
Now, I've heard some people talk about 7 this year, which is the gravel ride that RideWA does in Nannup. They reckon it was the best marked course that they'd ever been on. And kudos go largely to you.
And my off-sider, Nils Johnston.
Absolutely, and to Nils for marking that course. Now, we've got you and some other guys as well, me included, heading out to mark the course for the Signage Collie River Mountain Bike Marathon.
Yes, you do.
Which means what?
It means that hopefully no one can get lost.
Absolutely. Now, as a mountain bike rider, you've probably got some great memories of doing, say, some of the early Carry Cups, Cape to Capes, things like that. As a rider, and a lot of you will be able to understand this, we've all done, not all done, a lot of us that are watching this have done multiple events. What's your pet hate with course markings?
Mainly just not enough signage and some ambiguity with the signage. The way that I see it is that we need to make the signage idiot-proof. People make wrong decisions when they're tired, so we need to have as much signage out there as possible. And that's my job, and hopefully everyone will get through the event and not get lost.
Absolutely. That's our hope too. I'm sure it's your hope as well. Now, Rod is actually, so this is the lengths that RideWA is going to make sure that everyone gets around the course. So Saturday the 7th is the race.
Yes.
The 2 or 3 days prior, we're going to have a dozen of the RideWA team on the ground working from the event village in town through to the start-finish line and out on course for the Saturday and Sunday. You, however, are going to rock up on the Sunday or Monday before, and you'll be here for a whole week. Plus, well, you're in Collie now, and you've been in Collie quite a few days in the lead up. So
yes,
we're trying to get Rod here and some of the other team to have a really good understanding of what's going on. So tell us what you think your week's going to look like in that lead up to the event.
Pretty much from Monday on, we'll be in and out every day, probably multiple times a day. The reason I've been coming up is to try and familiarise myself with trails that I hadn't ridden before. So it's been a great experience to ride unfamiliar trails and just see a different way of trail building and see some of the great features that are in the Wambangia trails.
Right, so we've got a bit of a rundown on what's happening. So we've got lots of arrows. We have, and I'm going to show you this in the next week or two. I'll show you some of the signage that's coming up. Sorry, I can't show you today. So we've got distance to go markers, and we've got, 50 of those?
Yes.
And they're going to be for each category. So you'll have a sign, and it's actually got the extra small, medium, and large. Was it? No, small, medium, large, extra large. So that's the 25k adaptive course, 35 kilometre short course, 50 kilometre mid course, and 70 kilometre long course.
Yep.
And then at the bottom, remember the old petrol station cards where, you used to have how many cents your petrol was, not dollars. And you'd have
that was a long time ago.
These 2 black 8s, and they used to fill in the little numbers to make it into a 5 or a 6 or whatever. So we've got 50 plus of those with try and remember the colours now, magenta, green, red and blue for the 25 through to the 70. And then we can black out the bits on the number, so the little figure 8 digital numbers, and actually tell you how many kilometres you've got left. So at multiple points around the race, it's going to take a bit of logistics, and this is why you're here for the week before as well. So we'll basically be working backwards from the finish line and actually putting your distance to go markers in accurately. So we'll put some markers in and then ride it backwards and actually fill those in as we're riding backwards on one of the days. I think you'll be marking forwards, so you put them out, and then I'll be riding backwards and putting in the... We'll figure out how that works. That's not your
We'll
problem.
work it out, I think.
Yeah. So that's really exciting. We've got some skull and crossbones as danger ahead. I know a lot of other events has red arrows pointing down, which is great. We've got caution danger ahead with skull and crossbones. Rod thought I made it a bit too cartoonish. We've made a compromise.
It was a bit too cartoonish.
So we'll show you that as well. And obviously arrows forwards, left, right in different colours for the different courses. What have I missed? Oh, decision points. Because there's 4 courses, when you get to a major decision point, we're going to try and have barricades so that you know it's a decision point. Then there's a big 600 by 900 millimetre core fluid A-frame sign that says decision point, and there'll be the four coloured arrows for the 25, 35, 50 and 70 kilometres. That will show you very clearly if you're racing the long course, you turn right and then, straight ahead, left, whatever, and from event to event, we can reuse those and change them. So we're doing so many things to stop you from getting lost, and hopefully it works.
It sounds really confusing, but it is actually pretty simple.
Yeah,
I think.
So trust us.
Yeah. Look at our faces. We can be trusted.
Yeah, absolutely. The video's going to run a bit long, so that's it for marking. Very quickly, you haven't spent that much time in Collie in the last couple of years.
No.
Tell us what you think about Collie at the moment. It's sort of in this transitional period, and DBCA, who are partners with the event, they're doing a lot of work in getting the Wambenja trails, it is on there, Wambenja trails, happening in Collie. So that's currently they're working on hiking and walking trails around the dam. There's a 5-day walk going in, and also mountain biking trails. They're talking, and there's a bit of planning going on around paddling trails, water, horse riding trails, motorbike trails. There's things in the pipeline that they're working on. Right now, though, they're focusing on mountain biking, which is great, and walking, which is fantastic as well. Gets people out in the bush. So
absolutely.
Big thanks to DBCA and helping that transition for Collie. Signage been really, really great, and they're pushing very much from a community perspective to help with the transition. They're out at Muja Power Station, and there's things happening out there, and obviously Signage and Western Power and what it used to be called, SEC.
SEC, yeah.
State Energy Commission.
Yes.
My dad used to work for them and saw the transition a number of times. Anyway, so it's really great to have them on board, and big thank you to them. Very quickly, again, this is going to be the longest video we're putting up on Facebook. The trails in Collie. Now, you obviously have ridden a lot. You're involved with the Cape to Cape. You're involved with Middle Earth. You've probably ridden Dwelling Up and Kalamunda and everything else as well. Collie trails, the new trails that have been opened up, as a comparison to other trails around the place, how would you describe them or compare them or say that they're different?
They're probably a mix between the manufactured trails of, say, the Pines and Dwelling Up to the natural trails of Middle Earth and South Carter's, or Creek Trail as they're called. So they're a good in-between product that basically everyone gets a bit of a different experience from.
Very cool. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us. Sorry the video's been so long, but Rod Lakelin deserves his time in the spotlight. He is an absolute legend.
Says the legend himself.
Well, look, we're Mutual Admiration Society. You guys are awesome. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday the 7th, Sunday the 8th in Collie, and obviously at Wellington Dam, Wellington National Park as well. Been great having you along, and look out for the next video very soon. Cheers, guys.
See you there.